What's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. So, have you ever wanted to make a board a little wider? Or maybe you have a piece of plywood and it's just not big enough. And you don't want to go have to buy another sheet of plywood. Maybe we could just put two pieces of plywood together, maybe? No noise, no dust. I wanted to see if it worked. Neilson, number 48, tongue and groove plane. So obviously this is coming out of another video I'm working on, but I'll probably just chop that out. I think this deserves its own spotlight. I bought this a while ago. I saw it, I thought it was cool. You know, I'm like, I wonder. That would save a lot of aggravation. Let's check it out. So unfortunately, one sheet of plywood for this particular cabinet was just short. Just short. If I want to use whole pieces, that is. So I want to join this piece onto here to make it a little longer, because I'm not getting a whole nother sheet of plywood for one piece. And this is for the other cabinet, so I don't want to be taking off of this. The other cabinet is a little different, so I will have enough for a full cabinet on that one. And I was thinking about using the Craig pocket jig, but I'm not like a huge fan of the way that looks on plywood butt joints. You can never, the problem with the Craig jig is it pulls, when you screw in the screws, it pulls one board up as you tighten it. So if it's not solid wood, it's not something that you can plane down after. Like this has veneers, so we don't really have a lot of room to plane it down. But this little guy, Neilson, number 48, tongue and groove plane. This way rips the groove, this way rips the tongue, and it fits together nice and tight. This will work on long grain. I don't think it will really work on end grain. I don't know. It might. I don't think it would though. It's just gonna blow out. And I'm wondering if it'll work on plywood. Not sure. I'm gonna give it a shot. Let's see how it works. Are you kidding me? This thing is so nice. I mean, and see that? This metal piece stops. So it keeps you just keep going until it stops cutting. Then when you're done, you flip the fence around, you do the other side. So you want to put the fence, the back side of the fence against the finished side. So I just put an X and an X, and there's the tongue. If I had to do that, if I had to take out the router bits and the router, you know what I mean? You have to set the router, first router bit, router it, take the bit off, put the other bit in, set that bit to the correct depth, run that one. It's loud, makes a mess. Throws dust everywhere. And look how snug that is. So I noticed with the router too, the joints are a little sloppy. Like they don't fit together snug. Get out of here. We just did that on plywood. I don't know if that would work with regular plywood, but you know, Baltic birch. Yeah, you can do it. That'll be a nice strong joint. Highly recommend that thing. Yeah, aggravation saved. This thing is nice. I really like this little hand plane. And no, it wasn't hard to push, you know, over the plywood. You would think it would be tough to plane, but it wasn't. And I'll show you why. So you have a 1/4 inch tooth, then a 1/4 inch space of nothing, then another 1/4 inch tooth. So you have a 1/2 inch. When you're cutting the tongue, you have a 1/2 inch total of contact area. Then when you flip it and you're doing the groove, you only have a 1/4 inch. And you can get 2 hands on this. This little guy has a 3/4 inch contact area blade. And it's made really for one hand, so yeah. No, it wasn't that hard to push. I just put a little paraffin wax on the ski and the fence, like butter, just like cutting through cheese. So the Neilson number 48 comes sharp out of the box, ready to use. So this doesn't need to be razor sharp like other hand planes. This is a heavy removal tool. It's a bevel down. It has no chip breaker. It just goes in there and gouges it out. So these really don't have to be that sharp, but they do come extremely sharp out of the box. The number 48 is meant for 3/4 or more. They do have one for 1/2 inch, but you know, us common folk probably only run into 3/4. So that's what I got. And I know these are specialty, you know what I mean? All hand planes kind of have a set purpose. There's not really one hand plane that will like do it all. Well, so maybe that's why they call it the jack plane, right? Because it's the jack of all. It's big enough that you could flatten with it if you had to, and it's small enough that you could turn it on an angle a little bit and do some smoothing with it. So, I mean, if you're gonna start with hand planes, I would start with a little guy like this and a jack, and you could probably do pretty much everything you need to do. But, you know, the machines are taking over, people. Machines are taking over. We can't let them. I enjoy the craftsmanship and the build quality that goes into these tools, and honestly, when you need them and you use them and see how nice they are. Oh my God. Just that little plywood thing, I was like dancing around the basement. I was like, hell yeah. The router thing, yeah, it's great, but it's noisy, it's dusty, you have to set things and check things and try it and set it, and yeah, no. So I think it's important to try to keep traditions alive too. And you know, I walked into a few big job sites, and I just wanted to see, you know, it's always interesting to see how other people are doing things and kind of compare to what, you know, your company that you're working for, how you're doing things, and just kind of see where you're at, you know. So I walked into this big job site. There was like 10 or 15, you know, finished carpenters, you know, all my age, younger, older, a whole sprinkle of them, you know. And I went in and I was talking to them and I was kind of just seeing what they were doing, whatever, shooting the shit. And maybe like 2 of them had a chisel. Yeah. And then I was asking them like, hey, do any of you guys do you guys use hand planes? Like, any of you have one of these ancient relics? They're like, no. I'm like, so how do you guys deal with, like, we're in Boston, so I mean, these houses are like from the 1800s, some of them. The ceilings are all over the place, and then people want crown, and the ceilings are just like they're nuts. I'm like, how do you deal with the differences? You guys don't just like shave it down a little bit with the hand plane and put it up so it fits nice? No, we just push it up and nail it. Oh, okay. Whenever I do that, the other end pops off, or it just doesn't look right. I don't know. I don't understand why, like, everyone my age hasn't a clue what these are. At least from what I've seen so far. Maybe I'm not looking hard enough, but I don't know. Come on, millennials. Get with the program. But anyways, I highly recommend getting you a hand plane, man. If you're looking for a tongue and groove, there it is. But anyways, guys, that's it for this one. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Give the video a thumbs up. Get you a dirty t-shirt. Get after it. See you in the next one.